Okay, so sorry for that short interruption. So as we forward to our presentation, I am requesting those who are joining with us in the virtual platform, you may take your lunch while listening to the presentation. No, so I have now the permission to continue my presentation. No, so I am now on number 6 about the services or the activities that has been attended by our dental section. So they have joined the medical or dental outreach and feeding program sponsored by Zamsoreco during the anniversary celebration last August 24, 2022 at Barangay Isidro, Mahayag, Zamboanga del Sur. And they also have jointly spearheaded the division office launching of the 2022 Oplan sa Kalusugan sa DepEd One Health Week celebration at Aurora, Zamboanga del rendered dental treatment to the school children and parents as one of the activities during the OKD celebration. So another accomplishment report executed by our dentists from the dental section. They have conducted another health talks given to our learners from kindergarten to grade 12, total of 85. And for our teachers, both elementary and secondary, they have already done these health talks to 68 teachers. And they also have given oral examination for the pupils 2,063 and for the teachers 311. So they also have checked up the tooth with decay among our learners. Number of learners total is 1,678 and caries free 339. They also have conducted extraction permanent tooth for the pupils 40 and temporary teeth are 77. So those are for the accomplishment report from our dentist. Let's move forward to our SOCMOB, Social Mobilization and Network. So on August 2022, the 2022 Brigada Eskwela Program implementation started August 1 to 26, 2022. The launching was hosted by DepEd Dumingag 1 and sponsored by LGU Dumingag, held at Dumingag Gymnasium. So this was done with all-out support from the provincial local government unit of Zamboanga del Sur, MLGU of Dumingag, and with the special participation and support of the government line agencies such as Philippine Army's 1st Civil Military Operations Battalion and 53rd Infantry Matapat Battalion of the 1st Infantry Tabak Division. So, 1st Infantry Tabak Division Zamboanga del Sur, Police Provincial Office, Department of Trade and Industry, and private partners like City Savings Bank, BDO Network Bank, Tagum Cooperative Incorporated. So we also have this partnership engagement last August 16, 2022 between Tagum Cooperative Incorporated located at Balangasan District, Magadan City. This particular cooperative donated an amount of 50,000 to the Schools Division Office Zamboanga del Sur as part of their Brigada Eskwela Support Program. For resource mobilization support, September 8, 2022, the SOCMOB were able to source out funds in the amount of 50,000 for the prizes and other expenditures during the conduct of SDO's anniversary. So on September 2022, the conduct of the election of PTA officers for school year 2022-2023. So from September 1 to September 9, the first school PTA General Assembly by the incumbent SPTA BOD from previous school year or the outgoing SPTA BOD prior to the conduct of elections for the current school year. So from September 12 to 20, 2022, there was a homeroom PTA election of officers. Then from September 21 to 27, 2022, Municipal Federated PTA election. And from September 28 to 30, Division Federated PTA election. So for Oplan Kalusugan sa DepEd, this was conducted, the OKD conducted division kick-off on Oplan Kalusugan sa DepEd 1 Health Week. The date of this was September 19, 2022. This was held at the third floor of AIM Co-op Building, Aurora, Zamboanga del Sur. The participants attended were 220, and the source of fund for this activity is coming from gas. So the number of beneficiaries per health services, SBFP 15 severely wasted or wasted learners of ARPS or Aurora Regional Pilot School. NDEP, we have 5 participants of slogan making contest, 5 participants of poster making contest. Then medical consultation was done, 26 plus teachers, some were not listed, and their RBS or random blood sugar testing, 39 teachers, and eye checkup for 49 teachers. Then dental checkup or extraction, 30 teachers. Then we also have conducted this bloodletting. There were 50 donors, teachers, and other stakeholders. Then partners and volunteers, 19. For DRRM updates, the DepEd Memorandum number DRRMS-08-20-2022-0002 dated August 17, entitled Dissemination of the Psychosocial Evaluation, emphasizes that psychosocial support activities must be conducted during the first week of school year 2022-2023, beginning on August 22, 2022. Classroom advisors or designated teachers shall facilitate these activities for at least 1 hour for 1 week or until the learners are well adjusted in the school community. So number of schools submitted report in compliance with this particular memorandum as of September 15, elementary 667, schools submitted 481, the percentage of accomplishment is 60%. And for secondary, we only have 42% who submitted. Out of 138, only 58 have submitted this report. So some schools submitted only pictures but no data. So hence not included in the total number of schools submitted. So the DRRM conducted seminar on mental health awareness for SDO personnel in 3 batches, and this was participated by 160 SDO personnel from 3 functional divisions. Batch 1 of this was September 21, Batch 2 September 22, and Batch 3 was September 23, 2022. And for Prime HRM updates, final review of contextualized guidelines and policies, cum orientation to SDO personnel. This will be participated by the top management, division chiefs, and technical working groups, and this will be conducted in 3 days, and agreements on templates, forms, and files to be participated by the QMS Secretariat, Quality Assurance Group, top management, and the TWG team leaders. This is for 1 day. So review of documents to be sent for assessment 1 day, and the tentative date for this is October 24, 2022, and submission of documents for assessment will be on October 31, 2022. Implementation of policies and guidelines of gathering of MOV shall also be done. So those are the updates coming from the SGOD. This is Education Program Supervisor Antonio O. Ganub. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much to our Education Program Supervisor in SGOD, our OIC Chief, Dr. Antonio O. Ganog, for the complete and detailed updates about the activities undertaken by the sections under SGOD and the programs that will soon be implemented in this division. And I hope everyone is actually taking your lunch because time check, it's 12:48 in the afternoon. And I hope you are also still with us as we continue with the updates and reports coming from the rest of the sections in this division. And po, shout out sa ating mga friends dyan sa Dimataling District, of course, sa pinaka-active din, no? Isa sa mga pinaka-active na friend natin dyan, si Sir Yuni. I hope you are taking your lunch with your friends, with your teachers in Dimataling District, of course. No? And then sa lahat po ng mga kumakain ngayon, I hope you had your wonderful meal while listening to other updates coming from the rest of the sections. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming our division accountant, Ma'am Peachy Shane Karandang, for the accounting updates. Ma'am Shane?
Okay, Sir Brian, thank you so much. Afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Maharani Jacinto. To our two ASDSs, literally handsome ASDS of Zamboanga del Sur, Sir Raymond Salvador and Sir Jerry Bukinkito, to our chiefs from the SCOD and CID, to the rest of the members of the EXICOM, to our PSDSS, and to our school heads, good afternoon. I'll be presenting to you this afternoon the financial updates. Can I share na po the presentation, Sir Brian?
Yes, ma'am, you can now share your slide po.
Right, with regards to our financial matters, first up, we have already disseminated our additional MOE for the different schools of our division. Last April, we have disseminated the additional school MOE for our elementary and secondary schools, both junior and senior high schools. This is through the Division Memorandum number 132, Series of 2022, dated April 18, 2022. And this because of the adjustments and corrections that resulted to the updating and the actual numbers of enrollment for school year 2021 to 2022 as of January 2022. Through, of course, the Learners Information System as provided by the Education Management Information System Division Planning Service under the DepEd Central Office. So we have received the school MOE, additional school MOE for those selected schools. And then we also have again another additional MOE, and we have disseminated such during August 2022, last month po. And this is under Division Memorandum number 301, Series of 2022, dated August 23, 2022. The above mentioned additional allocation is based on the following parameters naman po. Yung the local government unit income classification, where the school is located and the number of teachers per school. Actually, hindi lang po ang schools ang merong additional MOE last August, but as well as the SDOs and the regional office. The school MOE fund was allocated based on the number of schools per schools division office. So, what are the uses of this additional MOE? Since additional po ito ng ating mga school MOE na na-receive natin or na-release during the comprehensive release from January until pa ito December, so the same lang po ang guidelines na ating basis for the utilization of this additional MOE. So the use of these funds shall be consistent with the following issuances. The office order 00 office order under OSIC 2022-003 regarding the interim guidelines on the expansion of limited face-to-face. Sorry for the wrong spelling, classes, dated February 2, 2022. And then we have also DepEd and Department of Health Joint Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series of 2021, the operational guidelines on the implementation of limited face-to-face learning modality, dated September 27, 2021. We have also the guidelines on the DepEd Order Number 15, Series of 2022, regarding the supplementary guidelines on managing maintenance and operating expenses allocation for schools to support the implementation of basic education learning continuity plan in time of COVID-19. That was dated June 25, 2020. And yung DepEd Order Number 14, Series of 2020, regarding the guidelines on the required health standards in basic education offices and schools. That was dated also last June 25, 2020. We have also the DepEd Memorandum Number 39, Series of 2020, which authorized the use of regular allocations for MOE and or local funds to implement the measures in preparing and responding to the COVID-19 threats. That was dated March 12, 2020. And last but not the least, yung DepEd Order Number 008, Series of 2019, with regards to the revised implementing guidelines on the direct release, use, monitoring, and reporting of MOE allocation of schools, including other funds managed by schools, which was dated May 2, 2019. So yun po yung mga iba't ibang issuances ng ating agency with regards to the utilization of our additional MOE. In no case shall these funds be used for the following. Hindi po dapat gamitin yung ating additional MOE for the procurement of tangible items which is beyond the capitalization threshold. Before po, yung ating capitalization threshold was only 15,000 pesos. But now, since the release of the GAA and as well as the release of the guidelines from the COA, with regards to the new capitalization threshold, ang ating po ngayong threshold is already 50,000 pesos. So instead of 15,150, naging 50,000 po yung capitalization threshold. So meaning, hindi po tayo maka-charge ng mga items or procurement, either goods or services na i-charge natin sa ating additional MOE pag beyond sa capitalization threshold na 50,000. Also, yung hiring of contractual or casual employees whose salaries and other compensation benefits should be charged against personal services allocations. This refers to yung mga contractual na niagi siya sa civil service. Yung pinapa-approve natin yung kanilang contract through the Civil Service Commission. So that should not be charged against our additional MOE but should be charged against personal services. So wala pong personal services ng ating mga schools, so hindi po sila dapat mag-hire ng contractual or casual employees na pinapa-approve dun sa civil service. And then procurement of capital outlay items. So the use of the said fund shall be subject to the usual budgeting, accounting, auditing, and procurement rules and regulations. So since yung capitalization threshold natin is 50,000, pag lumagpas na po kasi ng 50,000, magiging chargeable po siya against capital outlay. So, hindi po pwede na mag-procure po tayo ng mga items under the capital outlay. Kasi po, school MOE lang po ang ating gina-download sa ating mga schools. So, we now go on to the revised schedules. Well, due to the reassignment of some senior bookkeepers, as per Division Memorandum Number 298 Series of 2022, in which each district had been given one validator or checker, each to attend to the needs of the schools when it comes to providing better technical assistance to their fiscal responsibilities, most particularly their liquidation reports, a revision of the school of MOE downloading and submission of liquidation reports is hereby announced. So we have here the revised schedules now of the schedule of MOA downloading and on the submission of liquidation reports. Kasi nga po, nag-reassign na tayo ng mga bookkeepers and each bookkeeper or validator or checker is assigned with a single district. Hindi po katulad before na yung ating mga validator or checkers, they have 2 to 3 clustered districts. So ngayon, 1:1 na po tayo. So here is the revised schedule for the MOE downloading. So for the first week, yung district natin na da-downloadan, this will be effective probably by this September after the memorandum will be approved by our schools division superintendent. But this has already been presented during our EXICOM, and so the memorandum will be signed na lang po by our superintendent later on. So first week, we have the Mahayag North, Aurora West, Labangan 1, Dimataling, Tukuran West, Bensinso Sagon, Dumalinaw, and Lapuyan. For the second week, da-downloadan natin yung Bayog, Midsalit, Tambulig, Kumalarang, Labangan 2, Josefina, Aurora East. Third week, Domingag 1, Mulawi East, Tigbao, Lakewood, Ramon Magsaysay, Suminot, Tabina, Tukuran East, and San Miguel. For the fourth week, we have Mahayag South, San Pablo, Dinas, Marcos sa Tubig, Pitugo, Domingag 2, Gipos, and Mulawi West. So if you have observed, the scheduling of MOE downloading is based on the number of schools for both elementary and secondary schools of each district. So we have also the schedule, the revised schedule of submission of liquidation reports. So makikita po ninyo, yung first week, you have given, the schools are given at least 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks to liquidate their cash advances from the date of the downloading of their cash advances or their MOE. So for first week, we have Bayog, Midsalit, Tambulig, Pumalarang, Labangan 2, Josefina, and Aurora East. For the second week, we have the Domingag 1, Mulawi East, Tigbao, Lakewood, RM, Suminot, Tabina, Tukuran East, and San Miguel. For the third week, we have Mahayag South, San Pablo, Dinas, Marcos sa Tubig, Tugo, Domingag 2, Gipos, and Mulawi West. And for the fourth week, we have Mahayag North, Aurora West, Labangan 1, Dimataling, Tukuran West, Bensinso Sagon, Dumalinaw, and Lapuyan. So kung makikita ninyo yan, the schedule of downloading, 3 weeks after that will be the schedule of the submission of liquidation reports. Then we also have the schedule of the validators district visitation. Of course, because our validators or checkers, 1:1 na po tayo ngayon per district. So dapat they are required to visit the district or the field na kung saan sila na-assign at least 3 times a month. So here are the schedule of their field or district visitation. So the first week, we have yung validators natin sa Mahayag South, San Pablo, Dinas, Marcos, Pitugo, Dumingag 2, Gipos, Mulawi West. We have also Dumingag 1, Mulawi East, Tigbao, Lakewood, RM, Sumilot, Tabina, Tukuran East, and San Miguel. Then we have for the second week, we have the Mahayag North, Aurora West, Labangan 1, Mataling, Tukuran West, Bensinso Sagon, Dumalinaw, Lapuyan, Mahayag South, San Pablo, Dinas, Marcos sa Tubig, Pitugo, Dumingag 2, Gipos, and Mulawi West. During the third week, our validators for Bayog, Midsalit, Tambulig, Kumalarang, Labangan 2, Josefina, Aurora East, Mahayag North, Aurora West, Labangan 1, Dimataling, Tukuran West, Bensinso Sagon, Dumalinaw, and Lapuyan. And for the fourth week, we have yung validators natin from Domingag 1, Mulawi East, Tigbao, Lakewood, M. Suminot, Tabina, Tukuran East, San Miguel, Bayog, Bigsalip, Tambulig, Kumalarang, Labangan 2, Josefina, and Aurora East. So you have observed that the list, the schedule, of the field or district visitation of our validators is not in conflict with their schedule for MOA downloading and submission of liquidation reports. Para hindi naman po nag-overlapping yung schedules natin. Kaya during those times or during those week na hindi po nila schedule for MOE downloading or for checking of liquidation reports, yun po yung schedule din nila na mag-visit sa inyong mga districts or schools. So, sabi ko nga kanina, validators are assigned to the different schools of these districts are to provide technical assistance related to liquidation reports to the clustered schools assigned through actual district visitation at least 3 times a month or as the need arises. So, if you have observed yung kaninang ating schedule, mga twice yun yung week na dapat sila mag-visit. But then, during those 2 weeks, they have to visit for at least in a week, one of those weeks, na 2 weeks nila, they have to visit twice. Kasi they are required to at least visit the district or their schools a month. Or if ever, meron talagang kailangan puntahan sa district or sa schools kasi need talaga ng technical assistance with regards to financial matters, then the validators may request to have their travel order to be approved para po makavisit sila sa ating mga districts or schools to have technical assistance. And then it is reiterated also that travel expenses kasi po, this was also mentioned in our previous division memorandum. So this is already a reiteration on this memorandum, yung upcoming memorandum natin that the travel expenses of these validators while reporting to their assigned districts may be charged against the school MOE of their cluster schools. So, pwede po sila mag-charge sa ating mga schools kung sino po yung na binigyan nila ng technical assistance during that month or during those weeks. So, pwede po sila maka-charge dun sa ating school MOE ng ating schools. So, yours truly, as your division accountant, are also required to accompany at least one validator or checker per week to give also technical assistance to the school heads and senior bookkeepers, as well as to monitor the liquidation reports of the different schools of the division, depending also on the available schedule. Kasi meron din tayong week or there are times na medyo busy po dito sa office, so probably hindi po makavisit. But at least paningkamutan na toon or by next week that we could accompany at least one validator or checker to give also technical assistance to our different school heads and senior bookkeepers assigned in the field para po mabigyan ng linaw or updates with regards to our financial matters. So that's all for now for the finance section. Thank you so much, and once again, good afternoon. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our Division Accountant 3, Ma'am Pichi Shane Karandang, for giving us the updates on the financial aspect. And we hope that our participants in this convergence are taking down notes on the processes and for your queries on our chat box. Thank you.
All right, this time, ladies and gents, we have with us our Administrative Officer 5, finally, the owner of the hashtag Karundayo. Let's give it up for Ma'am Zenaida E. Mago. Ma'am?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again in this platform. Actually, na-debate na ko sa hashtag karon dayon. I was not ready. The PowerPoints I have prepared, still I need to identify what are those important slides to be presented this time. So, the outline of discussion, I have three concerns. One is the DepEd Order number 48, Series 2017, regarding the policy and procedural guidelines on CAV, or the certification, authentication, and verification on basic education school records. And then CSC, or the Civil Service Memorandum Circular number 41, Series 1998, as amended by CSCMC number 5, Series 2021, known as Omnibus Rules on Leave and Division Memorandum number 31, Series 2022, entitled What Are Those Required Reports in the Submission for Certain Administrative Matters, and the Division Memorandum 420, Series 2022, entitled Actual Physical Count of Property, Plant and Equipment Inventory. So let us go to the first outline, which is the Division Memorandum number 421, Series 2022, on the reiteration and the adoption of the policy and procedural guidelines on the certification, authentication, and verification of basic education on school records. Do you know what is CAV? Have you already heard about the CAV? Do you know what are the procedures? And do you know what are the processes? I think this is the first time you will know about this. Actually, we have heard from several request persons or the end users of the records, yung mga students natin or yung mga clients natin who are going to abroad and apply for the red ribbon, and then they are going to submit their school documents for CAV. But since last second week of October August, the okay, the regional office administrative services conducted the virtual orientation on this particular memorandum. But then we were for securing this CAV. Pero hindi natin alam pala, meron pala the right processes, or the right procedures in getting these documents. So we must ensure the accuracy and veracity of the academic school records should be duly reviewed, approved ASR, and certification shall be placed in a securely sealed envelope bearing the school seal and the signature of the school principal, school registrar, and records custodian. So pag may school librarian kayo, yun din siya, no, ang pwede mag-sign. And then I am reminding also that every school kailangan meron po kayo yung dry seal. Okay? And then for the school level, ito po yung process, no? The first process, the client should have received the request form, no? The task, yung received RF request form, then who is responsible unit or the person, it's the records custodian / registrar or the school school designate school registrar, no? And then how many time frame, how many or the uh, subsequently, ano yan? At least 2 minutes. Then ang output, yung RF receipt. Then another process, the review of request. And then the verification of request. Meron yan siya specific task. And then the school head should check the completeness of information. And then note if incomplete, return the applicant with return the application with the proper advice. If complete, then proceed to number 3. And then search for the appropriate academic school records as requested by the applicant. And if available, you need to proceed to number 4. So I have activity proposal as to the conduct of the records management information system, because in the inventory of the records, there are records we need to retain or condemn or dispose, no? Later, maybe mga by next month, at least ma-approve na yung activity proposal natin. Kailangan alam ng mga school heads, librarians, or records custodian, ano po yung mga school records na kailangan i-retain. Okay? And then, yung process for the evaluation of records. Responsible person is the record custodian / registrar, or in his or in her absence, the school head. The task, check and validate. Importante talaga yan mag-check and validate to the correctness and completeness of the information. And then if match, then we need to proceed to process 5. If unmatched, of course, the following need to be performed is to the date. You need to check the date, no? Yung most of the data, hindi magmamatch sa record ng mga bata, yung date of birth, place of birth, clarify the discrepancy with the applicant, and require him/her to submit duly authenticated birth certificate issued by the PSA or the Philippine Statistics Authority. Okay. Then process 5, approval of the request. It's the records custodian. If hindi available, yung school head pa rin. Prepare the academic school records and certification and affix his/her initials. Then review the accuracy as well and the veracity of the records. If in order, signs and approve. If not, you need to return and take action on it. May time frame yan siya in every task. Okay? And then process step 6, release of certification. Hindi yan umaabot ng ilang taon, ilang buwan. Within a day, pwede siguro makuha na ng client ang records requested by them. Okay? And then for the referral to the school of non-availability of academic school record, we have here ang note. Only the following cases shall be handled in the division office. Referral from the school of the non-availability of academic school record. Results of rating on alternative learning systems or ANE test and Philippine Educational Placement Test. And then schools that ceased operation for whatever causes and wherein the learner's school records are required to surrender to the Department of Education pursuant to existing regulations under Department Order Number 88, Series 2010 and dated June 24, 2010. What are these process? We need to receive the school form, and then the division records officer in his behalf or in her behalf, kung absent man gani, pwede si AO5 for the administrative section. And then time frame, 2 minutes, and then form yung referral form na. And then verification of records, search for the appropriate academic school records as requested by the school. still, ang responsible person is the division records officer. And then, in the absence, the AO5 is for the who will going to take the action. Okay? And the evaluation of records checks and validates the correctness and completeness of the information in the RF Division Records Officer. Ngayon lang namin naintindihan when this DepEd order na downloaded namin, and then kaya pala sabi ng records officer, it is not in our level na who will process the first step of the request CAV. No? Then the release of the results of verification, if match, release the ASR to the requesting school with proper endorsement. No? So we will prepare endorsement so that can be released to the regional office. And then for process 5, still recording and maintenance of the results of verification record, the release and maintains records, and the list maintains files of results of verification duly acknowledged by the applicant. No? Then division records officer, still the person responsible is the records officer or Miss Bernadette Gulben. Okay. Here are the forms. Forms you need to comply. Yung clients natin, no? Yung CAB Form 1, Request Form School, or RF 1, and then, yan, dapat kailangan yung records for what purpose. Meron yan employment abroad, seaman's book, migration, yan. May mga boxes yan dapat i-check. Then another form is CAB Form 2, yung school referral to division office. Yan. All these forms are already posted in our suresasur.net, our official website. You can download and have your copy and file it in your school. Okay, CAB number 3, the endorsement for correction on entries of the academic school records. We have there. Okay, sana klaro yan ninyo ha, or i-download mo na lang ninyo sa sa website para may copy kayo. Okay. For CAB number 4, certification of enrollment or completion or graduation. Yan. Need to fill in those mga blanks kung ano ang hinihingi ng clients natin. Then affix the signature. Then we have form number 5, the school transmittal to the regional office to be signed by the principal or the school head. And then list of approved CAB requests. Yan, if there are so many clients or our previous learners requesting for this CAV, we need to have the control number and then specify the name and the date of application, date of transmittal, so that you can submit it to the division office for proper endorsement to the regional office. Okay, and the CAB Form 7, certification non-availability of academic school records in the division office. So, division office po mag-certify if the records hindi naka-reside dito sa division office. Yan ang form ang dapat namin i-comply. Okay. For CAB 4, number 8, return endorsement of schools division office to the school. If respectfully returned to the name of the principal, name of school, address of the school, attach the school form 18, new school form 5 in connection with the request for academic school records, ASR, of name of learner and graduate of student in that school for the preferential appropriate action of the school principal. And then the CAB form number 9, certification of discrepancies. No, i-certify din natin kung meron mali. What are those discrepancies? Example, yung place of birth, date of birth, kung dili mag-jive with the records found in our school or in the division office, we need to certify it. Okay, and then CAB form number 10, request form for ALS and ALS A and E and PEP ratings. We have also a official form, no? We need to use these forms para ma-determine natin kung ano po kailangan ng mga clients natin. Yan o. May employment abroad, seaman book, SRC, migration, fiancé visa, tourist, student visa, descendants visa, and then to be signed by the representative or the applicant representative. Okay. And then certification of non-availability of rating. Yan po for the ALS ito. Then we need to certify also if the rating is not available in our level. Okay? And then certification of rating, ANEP, gihapon. And then the superintendent will also certify if this is to certify that after the verification, the following information marked check below pertaining to name of learner appear in the records of this office, she passed the alternative. I think ito po yung gi-prepare ng mga taga-ALS natin, EPS 2. No? And then they are going to affix yung dry seal from our office. Okay? And then CAB number 13, Division Office. Actually, there are so many forms. Ito lang gi-call out namin from the DepEd order kasi included na doon ang mga forms na dapat sa regional level. Okay, and then CAB form 14, list of approved CAB requests, we need to return, and then we need to forward to the regional office for their action, appropriate action. And then CAB application form, yan, the same na din yan. Okay. Yun lang po under the CAV. And then for the division memorandum number 437 series 2020, reiteration on the guidelines and procedures in the filing of application for leave or omnibus guidelines on the leave, no? And the corresponding document documentary requirements. Why we need to emphasize this because we have noted that most of the schools principals or the teacher in charge or the head of schools nagsubmit sila karon, and then ora-orada pod ba nga yung substitute especially for maternity leave, no? Always late talaga ang submission ng mga application. So, it has been observed that some had violated this procedure. Thus, this office reiterates the guidelines in the proper filing of leave of absence and the corresponding requirements for information, guidance, and strict compliance of all concerned. Application for any type of leave shall be made on the CSC Form Number 6 Revised 2020 and to be accomplished at least in duplicate copies with documentary requirements. No? Actually, we are requiring only one copy. Hindi na dalawa kasi we need to return upon the approval of our superintendent and then i-process man na namo and then to be inputted in our UIS. So reflected na doon yung mga number of days you apply for leave. So kaya instead of 2 copies as required by the CSC, 1 copy na lang po isubmit natin. Okay? These are type of leave. Number 1 is the vacation leave. The frequency of submission, vacation leave within the Philippines shall be filed 5 days. Take note, no? 5 days in advance of the effective date of such leave. And vacation leave for abroad shall be filed 30 days in advance. Why? Because so that we have time to process. Hindi lang orada-orada. And then what are those requirements? Secure clearance from money and work accountabilities and travel authority. And vacation leave for teaching position shall be leave without pay if you are a teacher. The mandatory forced leave for non-teaching or forced leave after it should be filed 5 days in advance, no? Okay. Annual 5-day vacation leave shall be forfeited if not taken during the year. In case the scheduled leave has been cancelled in the exigency of the service by the head of agency, it shall no longer be deducted from the accumulated vacation leave. Availment of 1 day or more vacation leave shall be considered for complying the mandatory forced leave subject to the condition under Section 2025 Rule 16 of the Omnibus Rules implementing Executive Order number 292. Sick leave. It shall be filed immediately upon employees returned from such leave. So, meaning to say, pwede din natin i-file ang sick leave upon return, not before. No? If filed in advance, yung advance ito po, or exceeding 5 days, application shall be accompanied by a medical certificate. In case medical consultation was not availed of an affidavit should be executed by an applicant. Sick leave for teaching position shall be charged to service credit. Position shall be charged to service credits or service credits. The maternity leave for 105 days, filing of maternity leave and other types of leave that require a substitute must be submitted 15 days. Take note, 15 days prior to the expected date of delivery or the effective date of leave. The rationale is to give ample time for the SDO to find a substitute. Dito po medyo magka-problema tayo. Usually, yung teacher and the school head, isubmit nila yung leave, no? Maternity leave of the teachers. Kana bang karon na nanganak and then lisod na po pangita og kinsay i-substitute ora mismo. So, it is very clear we need to submit 15 days prior to the special date. What are the requirements? The proof of pregnancy, example, the ultrasound, doctor's certificate on the expected date of delivery, accomplished notice of allocation of maternity leave credits, CS form number 6A if needed. Seconded female employee shall enjoy maternity leave with full pay in the recipient. Okay. Paternity leave, proof of child's delivery. Example, birth certificate, medical certificate. There is no frequency of submission. Depende lang on the maternity leave, yung kailan nag-deliver si Mrs. And then, special privilege leave, 3 days. It shall be filed approved for at least 1 week prior to availment except on emergency cases. 1 week prior to availment, special privilege leave. Special privilege leave with the Philippines or abroad shall be indicated in the form for purposes of securing travel authority and completing clearance from money and work accountabilities. Special leave for teaching positions shall be charged to service credits. Solo parent leave, 7 days. Sino po yung mga solo parent? Meron po kayo 7 days to avail. And then it shall be filed in advance or whenever possible, 5 days before going on such leave. Take note of the frequency of submission, no? Updated solo parent identification card, you need to secure this from the DSWD. And then study leave up to 6 months shall meet the agency internal requirements, if any. Contract between the agency head or authorized representative and the employee concerned. Spousal leave, 10 days. It shall be filed in advance or immediate upon the woman employee's return from such leave. It shall be accompanied by any of the following supporting documents as requirements. The Barangay Protection Order or BPO obtained from the barangay, temporary permanent protection order obtained from the court. If the protection order is not yet issued by the barangay or the court, a certification issued by the punong barangay, kagawad or prosecutor or the clerk of court that application for the BP, TPO or PPO has been filed with the said office shall be sufficient to support the application for the 10-day leave. Or, in the absence of the BPO, TPO, PPO, or the certification, a police report specifying the details of the occurrence of violence on the victim and a medical certificate may be considered at the discretion of the immediate supervisor of the woman employee concerned. And then we have still another type of leave, the rehabilitation leave up to 6 months with pay yan. Application shall be made within 1 week from the time of accident except when a longer period is warranted. Letter request supported by relevant report or the incidental report, medical certificate, and then written documents of a government physician. Yan po ang requirements. Then special leave benefits for women up to 2 months. The application may be filed in advance, that is at least 5 days prior to the scheduled date of the gynecological surgery that will be undergone by the employee. In case of emergency, the application for special leave shall be filed immediately upon employee's return, but during confinement, the agency shall be notified of said surgery. Requirements: the application shall be accompanied by medical certificate filed out by the proper medical authorities. Example, the attending surgeon accompanied by a clinical summary reflecting. Dito applicable ito sa mga yung magpakuha ka ng kwan bitaw, kanang mga myoma, mga ovarian cysts, and then nag-operate and other, no? Gynecological, gynecological surgery. Okay? Monetization of leave requirements, application for monetization of 50% or more of the accumulated leave credits shall be accompanied by letter request to the head of the agency stating the valid and justifiable reasons. Terminal leave, proof of employee's resignation or retirement or separation from the service accompanied by a clearance from money, property, and work-related accountabilities pursuant to CSC Memorandum Circular Number 2, Series 1984. So, application for leave absence, that we need to have the prescribed period within which to file the application for leave of absence, as well as the documentary requirements must be strictly adhered to. Failure to comply with the existing provisions shall constitute disapproval of the leave, which equates to leave of absence without pay. School heads are requested to properly inform and remind their teachers, including the non-teaching personnel, on this matter. It has been observed that some requests for personnel actions leave applications are being filed behind the hand. Late lagi. Okay. So, the last presentation would be the conduct of the actual physical count of property, plant, and equipment. So, since we have already done during last July, during our orientation on PPE, this time, within this month, starting this month, we are going to conduct yung actual physical count of property and plant and equipment based on the report submitted online to the supply office. So, we need to download those reports submitted by the school property custodians. I-validate na namo kung tinuod ang ilang reports as well as yung physical. No, halimbawa, kung may buildings kayo for condemnation or kanusan na siya for repair, for construction, and then all those physical property, yung properties, plants, and equipment, kailangan namin i-actual inventory. Here are the team members. Team A, we have Erwin Cabanit as team leader, and Team B, we have Zenaida Mago as team leader, and Team C, Pichi Shane Karandang as team leader. And down the line are the members of each team. Saturnino Comique for Team A, Felix Berto Maghuyop, April Rose Ngoho, and COA representative. Then for the Team B, members are Rick Pedrosa, Eva Labajo, Dicel Altimeras, and COA representative. And then for Team C, members Mayflor Alonso, Iris O. Amili, and Rovi May G. Masong, and COA representatives. So, the conduct of actual physical inventory of PPEs in schools will start in October 2022 onwards, no? Dapat nag-start na kami by next week. A randomized validation will be done by the Division Inventory Committee to selected schools per district. Hindi na namin i-mention anong schools para we heard some mga balita from the field. Meron daw yung mga schools na if during the inventory or physical count, naghihiram daw sa kabilang schools yung mga supplies nila, yung mga equipment nila. So by this time, unannounced po anong schools i-validate namin. And for those schools not included in the randomized validation, all inventory papers shall be validated by the administrative officers assigned in every district before submitting it to the division office. So, this slide is for us to be reminded on the loans confirmation and approval. For the GSIS loan confirmation, it is Bernadette, our agency, AAO, Agency Authorized Officer. Hindi AAO na si Mago lang, hindi. AAO meaning Agency Authorized Officer. In terms sa GSIS loan, si Ma'am Bernadette Gulben ang mag-confirm. And then for Pag-ibig loan, ang endorser si Manuel Sian Romarate. And then for the verifier at the regional level is Genevieve Techo. And for the application loan for Pag-ibig, ako po at ang alternate na ko si Eva G. Castro. Ito yung mga steps, no? This is not a new steps, new processes, but this should be done, no, before. The usual way of applying for Pag-ibig loan, murag ba katulang application form, then pirmahan sa AON, then diretso na i-submit sa Pag-ibig. Mali daw yun, mali. The only division na yun pa rin ang old practice, gina-practice na to. And this one, we should observe this mga steps. Step 1, the borrower should secure loan form and tentative loan computation from Pag-ibig office. Then step 2, the borrower, the loan application should submit through records unit, and then the records will forward the application to the personnel unit in charge, Manuel Sian and Romarate, for the endorsement to the regional office for verification. And then, upon the action of the request for confirmation of the net take-home pay by the regional verifier, the approval or disapproval by representative A.O. Mago or by Eva G. Castro. And the records unit releases the approved or disapproved application. You will receive a text message kung okay na po yung application ninyo. You don't need to come and to ask kung as to the status of your application. So once again, thank you so much for being with us at magandang buhay po sa lahat.
Thank you so much, that speaker.
Kaya masabi parang pinakahilig
Parang-
tayo, no? Kasi when it
Kaya-
comes to her, parang talagang makikinig tayo. It is all
Yeah.
about laws, policies,
We are
guidelines.
obliged to listen.
Ayan.
Hindi lang siya na-inform about the green dress. Oh my
Matatanggal
gosh.
na, alright. Ayan po, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us all welcome our legal officer, Attorney 3, Jill C. Alpeche.
afternoon, everyone. I'll be giving updates from the legal section. I will discussing actually two department orders for today. This is very timely, considering that the legal office has been receiving complaints, inquiries about the vaccination. So actually, prior to this issuance of DO 39 series of 2022, I think we have received 100 plus complaints or letters of inquiries from the field, mainly. Um, and actually, it has caused confusion in the field, considering that there has been a pronouncement via media, no, from our USEC Escobedo. So actually, there were confusions. So when the superintendent was complained of through 8888, in there we actually were requested actually clarification as to the matter. So thankfully, on September 19, 2022, the DepEd issued DO 39 series of 2022. It's which or the health and safety protocols in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what are the important provisions of this DO? We have the rationale. Let's read. With regard to COVID-19 testing and vaccination, DepEd strictly implements a no discrimination policy in terms of managing its personnel and learners, regardless of their vaccination status. So from this rationale alone, we could see that maybe the DepEd already repealed the previous issuances, considering that in the past year, the DepEd was very categorical, no, in its issuances. Actually, daghan kay itong mga inquiries last time, and then we forwarded them all to the CO, and then still the reply from the CEO is very categorical jud, no, need gyud ta mag RT-PCR ana. Pero in the issuance of this DO 39, ingon na diri DepEd strictly implements a no discrimination policy. And then again, another, we have, it supports the implementation of face-to-face classes by strengthening the provisions of DO 34, particularly on the prevention of COVID-19 and other infectious diseases, and addressing related concerns schools may have regarding the implementation of such provisions, including concerns on COVID-19 testing and vaccination, and handling of attendance records of personnel affected by matters related to COVID-19. So we have all teaching and non-teaching personnel and learners, regardless of vaccination status, shall be allowed to attend and in-person classes. Because before, unsa maingon sa ato ang department order, during the limited face-to-face, only the vaccinated students are preferred. But this time, no, regardless of vaccination status, all students, no, shall be allowed to attend in-person classes, and it is the same with teaching and non-teaching personnel. Again, there is no more discrimination. And then we have unvaccinated teaching and shall not be held liable if teaching and non-teaching personnel or learners should turn COVID-19 positive. While all personnel and learners will now freely interact with each other in shared spaces in the school setting, regardless of their vaccination status, all concerned shall ensure observance of the minimum public health standards as provided in DO 34 and as reiterated and further expounded in this section. We have, of course, the schools must have a hand washing facilities, no? Sa In elementary level, you must have at least 10 water outlets. In high school, you must have at least 4 water outlets. That's per DO 10 series of 2016. And then we have wearing of face mask. Wearing of face mask shall be mandatory for all personnel, learners, and visitors inside classrooms, laboratories, and other school rooms, but shall be voluntary in open spaces. This is in consonance to the issuance signed by, I think, the president himself, no? Na voluntary na ang sa open spaces or non-crowded outdoor areas with good ventilation, as well as in playing sports and other physical activities. Open spaces and outdoor areas shall mean areas or spaces with or without roofing. All personnel and learners shall be regularly reminded to strictly monitor themselves for possible symptoms of COVID-19 before reporting to work or school. Those with flu-like symptoms, regardless of vaccination status, will not be allowed to report on site, but will be advised to stay at home, switch to distance learning for learners, or avail of their sick leave credits for personnel as may be applicable. The phrase there, as may be applicable, we will discuss intensively later. Similarly, visitors who show COVID-19 symptoms shall be advised to transact with the office or the schools virtually or come back another time when they are no longer symptomatic. We have handling of attendance records of personnel affected by matters related to COVID-19. So, attendance records of personnel who will not be able to report to work on site due to reasons related to COVID-19, such as failing to report to work on site for not complying with the regular, this is sample, undergoing required isolation or treatment. Actually, the latest issuances with regard to this attendance records, we have MC 7 series of 2022 and CSC MC's number 02 2022. It says there nga actually since it was released on January 2022, it says there that when an employee will be contracted, no, contracted with COVID-19 or doon na siya yung mga symptoms, doon na tayo gitawag og excused absence. So what are these excused absence? Excused absence shall be applied to personnel who are required to undergo isolation pursuant to CSC number 2 series of 2022. Personnel who are considered to be under excused absence are not required to report for work but are entitled to payment of salary. Their absence shall not be deducted to their accrued leave or service credits. Work from home arrangements shall apply to personnel who are required to undergo isolation due to exposure but are asymptomatic and or are able to perform their work assignment at home. Excused absence shall apply to personnel who are in isolation due to exposure to COVID-19 but are not able to perform their work assignments at home, provided that they submit a certification issued by their respective heads of offices attached to their leave forms. For purposes of claiming COVID-19 isolation and leave credits, a medical certification issued by a certified attending physician, barangay health emergency response teams, office or school medical physician may suffice, provided it should include the following minimum information. We have the name of patient, severity of the symptoms, diagnosis as probable or confirmed COVID-19, and date of end of isolation period. Additional documents required as provided in CSC MC number 02 series of 2022, such as but not limited to copy of COVID-19 test result, copy of barangay office clinic contact tracing form, approved travel authority locator slip, certificate of appearance, laboratory results, or other medical supporting documents. We have diagnostic reports and test results shall come from accredited laboratories or testing centers and shall be subject to validation for authenticity as may be needed. Absences without the required medical certification shall be deducted to employees' accrued leave credits, service credits, or salary if applicable. So dapat the diagnostic reports and test results shall come from accredited laboratories, no? Kay we have received inquiries, complaints again with regard to certificates that are somewhat kanang questionable. So it should come from accredited laboratories or testing centers. For absences from work during the day of COVID-19 vaccination, of course, we already knew this. The absence due to the adverse effects following the immunization shall be considered as excused absence. Okay, we have for contract of service. This benefits, no? This law applies to contract of service, JOs, because as per previous issuances. So for DO 39, so again, I reiterate that per DO 39 series of 2022 issued by the CO on September 19, 2022, there is no more discrimination. Teachers and non-teaching personnel are not required to undergo RT-PCR test requirement for once every 2 weeks. So that is very clear. Actually, prior to this issuance, the regional director through the SDS already informed us that to be lenient, considering that there were pronouncements, no, series of pronouncements from the bosses from the central office. So it is very clear in this issuance that again there is no more discrimination. So happy ending. Wala na iko ano, di na ta actually the legal and the personal in the division office are of course kanang na stress pod biya in implementing this one, considering that the previous issuances came from the central office and not coming from this division. So what may laing mahimo kundi to implement, and luckily and fortunately, thankfully, there is a clarification. And it is very also categorical that there is no more discrimination. So happy all, happy and ending. Okay, we have DO 37 series of 2022. It was issued on September 1, 2022. There are salient provisions of this DO that we should also study, considering that this DO repealed some issuances, no? The DO 37 series of 2022 are the guidelines on the cancellation or suspension of classes and work in schools in the event of natural disasters, power outages, power interruptions, and other calamities. We have guidelines during typhoon, okay? Kung doon ay typhoon, in person. In person, online classes and work from kindergarten to grade 12, an alternative learning system, are automatically canceled in schools situated in local government units issued with tropical cyclone wind signals 1, 2, 3, or 5 by the Pag-asa. If the TCW is issued at the time when classes have already begun, the school shall immediately suspend the classes and work and send everyone home, if it is safe to do so. However, schools are obliged to keep the students and personnel safety in school if traveling has become unsafe. The local authorities, no? We shall decide on the cancellation or suspension of classes in cases where there are strong winds in specific and all areas of the LGU, but the Pag-asa has not issued signal number, no, wala signal number 1, 2, 3, 4, but the local, in your locality you have experienced strong winds. No, it is within the discretion of your local government agencies with the LGU concerned. We have heavy rainfall in-person, online classes, and work from kindergarten to grade 12 and alternative learning systems are automatically canceled in schools situated in local government units issued with orange and red rainfall warning by the Pag-asa. If the warning is issued at a time when classes have already begun, the school shall immediately suspend the classes and work and send everyone home, if again it is safe to do so. However, schools are obligated to keep the students and personnel safety in school if traveling has become unsafe. Again, the LGU shall decide on the cancellation or suspension of classes if the LGU is issued a yellow rainfall warning by Pag-asa, or in cases where there are torrential rains in specific and all areas of LGU but is not issued by alert level by Pag-asa. We have flood. Of course, the same Ragyapon. Online, again, automatically canceled when there is a flood warning issued by Pag-asa. Again, if the flood warning is issued when the time classes have already begun, again, school shall immediately suspend the classes and work and then send everyone home. If again it is safe to do so, if delay, so of course, the schools are obligated to keep the students and personnel safety in school if traveling again has become unsafe. Again, the local government units, no, the local civil authorities, no, they are allowed to issue to issue suspension of classes in cases where there is flooding, but the Pag-asa has not issued a flood warning. An earthquake, the same in-person and online classes and work from kindergarten to grade 12. ALS are automatically canceled in schools situated in LGUs where the PHIVOX declare an earthquake with PHIVOX earthquake intensity scale number 5 or above, or number 5 and above. Pero 4 or below, the LGU, no? The mayor or the governor shall decide on the cancellation or suspension of classes. So school principals can cancel classes at any intensity scale if their assessment, building, and other structures are seen to be in danger or collapsing or is found to have major damage. The school disaster risk reduction and management team should clear the return of students and personnel in building and other structures. Power outage and power interruptions, brownouts. Of course, lahi siya. There is no automatic cancellation or suspension of classes in the event that there are brownouts. Lisod po, di ko rin brownout. Declare na dahil manguli na ta kay brownout. But, ingan din ay exception. If the power outages, power interruptions, brownouts have resulted to poor learning environment. So what are these poor learning environment? No? What is this poor learning environment? School officials can cancel or suspend classes at their own discretion. So, kung ngit-ngit na yung kayo, wala na mo kamo na yung makabaluan na at your own discretion. When again, power outages may have resulted to poor learning environment. But this doesn't apply to siguro high school. Makabalo na, mag-cellphone na. Pwede na magsuga sa ilang cellphone. Adjustment to learning delivery due to suspension, cancellation of classes. Of course, in the event of canceled or suspended classes, modular distance learning, performance task, project, or makeup classes shall be implemented to ensure that learning competencies and objectives are still met. In adherence to the provision of DO 14, series of 2021, learners who miss learning activities due to class suspensions brought about by various disruptions due to natural or human-induced hazards shall be accorded due consideration in their attendance and the completion of their learning task. We have teaching school personnel, including ALS teachers and non-teaching personnel in schools, shall not be required to report to work except those who are mandated to render security, safety, finance, engineering, sanitation, health, and disaster response duties. Schools, on the other hand, must always be ready to implement remote work with measured output. Use of schools. Again, number 8, this is very important. Use of schools as evacuation center or COVID-19 quarantine and or isolation facility or vaccination status. Because before, the regional directors were given authority to allow the LGUs to use our schools as vaccination centers, evacuation centers, quarantine and isolation facility, vaccination. So, but this issuances, this DO 37 series of 2022 dated September 1, no, repealed na itong tuwa nga mga issuances. Schools shall not be used as quarantine and or isolation facilities or vaccination centers. The authority given to regional directors has already been repealed, likewise repealed in this DO. In cases of other disasters, no, such as flood maybe, or schools may be used as an immediate evacuation, which should not last for more than 15 days because the LGUs cannot use the schools as long-term shelters for evacuees. So, balik na ta sa previous nga issuance, no? Because prior to the pandemic, the schools may be used as immediate evacuation site for a limited period of time. Pero during the pandemic, again, the regional directors were issued authority, no? They were allowed to allow the LGUs to use our schools as vaccination areas. But starting September 1, so the office must, no? Dapat wala na may ma-receive nga mga request as to this effect nga. Na ko'y mag-request, kaya wala dahil nakabasa sa DO 37. And we have the responsibility of parents or guardians. The DepEd still maintains that parents or guardians have the ultimate responsibility for determining whether their children should attend classes in consideration of their physical and or mental health during disaster and calamities. This applies even if no order for cancellation or suspension of classes has been issued. Of course, kung dili pa iskalan sa mga ginikanan lang bata kay gaulan, it is their ultimate responsibility. And even then, it is also their ultimate responsibility nga ang ilang mga bata makaka-catch up pod. So sa lesson, no? It is not our, pero we still have a portion of that responsibility, but the ultimate responsibility lies to the parents. So I think that's all from, no, I still have one more issue to add regarding the titling, no, school titling. Actually, I think less than 50. Let me check from the record section. I think there are few schools in this division already have kananaang naka titles, no? Titled na ang ilang mga lot. Unfortunately, the budget that was approved, no, is only 800,000 for until December 2023. So we requested, I think, 24 million for the titling. Unfortunately, only 800,000 was approved. So katong mga maghikay sa titling, we only have 800,000 very limited funds until December 2023. So the office would appreciate if you can work on with your linkages, no? Basi mapadi nato malabi. The LGU, the office of the LGU, the province, I think will be giving us half million also for the titling. So as to the reimbursement or saan na siya pag avail, you may go to the office of the beautiful accountant para sa processes, na para sa documentation. So, but it's only sa DepEd, it's only 800,000, and then we have 500,000 from the SEF, no? SEF province. So katungtuang mga maghikay sa ilang title, doon lang sa opisina for any legal advice. Kaya basi di mo makabalo sa steps. Actually, the office is also planning to conduct a seminar on titling, but I'm still looking for a kuan ka na ang a very good speaker for that from DNR probably or from LRA as they are well versed in the titling. And I think that's all. That's all. That's all from the legal. Let's go back to the
Let's proceed to the illegal.
let's proceed to the illegal.
Ako ikaw, madam.
Okay na. Hindi ko mag-i-hear mo.
Superintendent hour na yun. Wala daw sa social media.
Wala.
Wala may concern, Sir Mark. Sa
Ate
IT.
sir, ganun dire.
Wala ko.
IT concern?
Yes. Once again, thank you so much to our legal officer, Attorney Jill C. Alpeche, for giving us the updates coming from the legal office.
Our friend.
Of course, our friend.
This time, ladies and gents, let's give it up for the leader of the Zamboanga Division Flock, our schools division superintendent, Dr. Maharani M. Jacinto Seso 5.
Hello, good afternoon. Am I on board now?
Hello.
Hello, hello. Am I heard?
Yes, ma'am, loud and clear. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you to the MCs of these ceremonies, of course, to Kathleen and Brian. Thank you very much. A job well done. Congrats. Once again, good afternoon to all of us. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge, of course, the members of the EXICOM, ASDS Salvador, and ASDS Booking Quito, CID Chief Magallanes, and OIC Chief is GOD Ganog. We have our administrative section with AO Mago and the rest of the EXICOM members. Thank you very much for all the inputs provided. I guess it made clear to everyone that we have these existing programs and projects as well as policies issued by our mother agency and Civil Service Commission that we are to observe and adhere. It is believed that we can only move and achieve what we intend to achieve if there is proper planning and proper implementation coupled with, of course, timely dissemination of information. Thus, we consider this convergence of ours today to once again an avenue for us to understand better our duties and responsibilities and function properly. And we believe by reiterating and providing updates to everyone will guide us to become more cohesive and gearing to one direction for us to be able to achieve with proper guidance the set goals of our division. This reiteration is anchored on submitted monitoring reports, and observations of concerned units like the CID division with Ma'am Magallanes, the chief, the SGOD division with OIC Dr. Ganog, and of course from the administrative or from the OSDS with Ma'am Mago, the two ASDSs, and the rest of the team, the legal and the accounting section. The following are or need to be reiterated as given to you a while ago. Comes November 2, all of us will be on-site reporting. Everybody will conduct face-to-face classes and reports to the respective stations from Monday to Friday. And reminder to all school heads, modules will form part of our references. So therefore, there is a need for us to achieve that time on task requirement, which is 6 hours numbers of teaching, actual teaching of teachers. Please be reminded of that. And then I would like as well to reiterate that all schools must be with approved school learning recovery plan. Because this is your guide in the implementation of your plans, your programs and projects to achieve your goals in the division. And then for the deployment and requests of teachers, this must be based on need, especially in the secondary. This refers to the specialization and not because you are familiar with the individual or you know that somebody. It must be based on specialization because we have this senior high school and junior high school that requires this deployment of teachers that is anchored on specialization. Same is true with the elementary, and this applies to the DepEd, to the kindergarten, and to the IPED or IPEd classes. PSDs and principals have no responsibility whether to accept or not to accept deployed teachers. It is not within their KRAs. Please be reminded of that. You may recommend for appraisal, but deployment is still based on need of the school, based on RQA as to whom, and some legal issuance or issuances that may affect the deployment. Like for example, the localization law, the SPEMS, ikaw, sa Pinas, ikaw ang teacher. They're covered with those special laws and we should be in adherence to that when it comes to deployment of these applicants. If indeed you are not accepting those teachers, this will lead down to legal actions or may, because you are liable of your actions beyond what is stipulated under your KRA, and now you are hampering or impeding the provision of services by those teachers to the learners. So please be reminded of that this is not within your responsibility. And another one, based on observation, as reported by the Chief CID and SGOD, please be diligent and righteous in the preparation of your plans, especially master programs, class programs, curriculum offering, and other required reports that pertains to school operation of classes. Because extended classes during summer were experienced by us in DepEd Zamboanga del Sur due to deficiencies of subjects by our learners, and we don't want that to experience again. We are hampering the growth of our learners because they will be spending their summer just to complete the required number of units, the required number of subjects for certain specialization, both in the junior and senior high schools. So we don't want that to happen again because as much as possible, we want our learners to complete those requirements within the time frame given. If they are to graduate by March, October, or when, that should be the exact scenario that will happen, but not to extend because we commit errors in the preparation of those curriculum offering, and at the same time, we're not that diligent enough in the preparation of class programs. So you are not fair to your teachers. You are not just to your learners, and you're not able to provide what is due to both teachers and learners. So reminders, please be diligent in the preparation of those documents so that we will be able to provide quality education that we are aiming for these teachers, and giving as well the convenience to our teachers and learners to end the school year properly. Another thing that we would want us to be cautious enough is the filling or filing of personal leave of absence, and other leave of absence such as travel abroad. The timeline given, which is 1 week before, is for this office to decide, meaning that duration, the document should be in the office of the superintendent because we have no control of the course of the documents. When you submit it to the records, and then the records will tally it, and then afterwards will be forwarded in the absent. There are events that we have no control. So do not depend on the timeline that you will submit it 1 week. You should submit it at least 2 weeks before so that to ensure that those documents will be in the office of the superintendent, especially with us in Zamboanga del Sur, wherein your schools are about 50 kilometers away from the division office, and that the school head cannot travel right there and then just to submit your documents. Please consider that one, school heads. Remind your teachers. And for travel abroad, those documents will be mailed. You can just imagine when it will reach the office of the secretary. So please submit that, not within 1 month, but before 1 month, for us also to process and the regional office to consider to submit it to the office of the secretary for appraisal, whether to approve or disapprove your request to travel abroad. These are things that we need to consider because we are not the only ones to process those documents. People from the school, from the records, from the office of the approving authority, down or up to the regional office, because before it will reach the office of the final decision, final person to decide. So you can just imagine if you will submit those days within those period emanating from your school, 1 month, you cannot expect that it will be approved or assume that it will be approved because there are reasons not to approve, and it will give you time as well to think, to reconsider what to file. So both ends will be given ample time to consider and to decide whether to approve or not to approve such request. And another one is this LIS, EBIS concern as reported by the chief of the SGOD, this has been a problem not only this year, but well, even in the previous years. So I was wondering, because this is a routinary activity to be performed by all schools during enrollment days. And it became a bottleneck to all of us, even in the regional office and central office. Please extend effort to address this concern, because we have been performing this since this online portal became available. No communication access, no internet are all given. We are aware of that. We are not blind to that situation. Thus, it is our responsibility to find means, because we are in the province, we are not in the city, that when there is no available internet connectivity, it's because of the service provider being not available. The machine is down. But for us in the province, well, everything is difficult. So why not find ways? Because if there's a will, there's always a way to do it. Why not bring those documents down to access internet? Why insist of having that activity in the mountains? Di ba? Di ko maintindihan eh. So let's do something. Let's find out other ways to address our concern, because we can bring those data down for us to be able to input it in the portal of LIS. Pero hindi pa rin nagagawa. Kailangan pangalanan ang schools just for us to address that one. Hindi tayo ganun, di ba? Dapat alam natin, because we are in charge of our schools. We know better the enrollment of our schools. And we know the best way to address our concerns, especially submission of reports. If we are aware, if we know that we have no internet connectivity and it's difficult for us to upload in our school because it's surrounded by mountains, then bring the data down so that we can input that one and beat the deadline. Not that the deadline will be beating us. Well, nabaliktad ang mundo. O diba? We are supposed to be the ones to manage the time, not the time to manage us. So let's be responsive. Let's be updated, and let's be one step ahead of those requirements, because it's routinary in nature. Hindi ito bigla ang, uy, gumawa ka ng LIS. No, it's not. It's a yearly activity to comply with the requirements in the portal. So I hope this will not happen again, because this has been a problem for several years. Sana magbago tayo, because hindi natin pwedeng baguhin ang portal. It depends upon us. So I hope this will be corrected the next time with the presence of coordinators to address these issues and concern. I hope those designated coordinators will be able to connect properly with the school heads, so that these issues or this issue will be resolved and be deleted the next year, the next opening of school year. And also, those schools mentioned a while ago that have discrepancies or variants as to their reporting, please correct that data within this week for us to be able to provide the regional office and the central office with accurate data, because these are the basis in the downloading of programs, the downloading of funds. You may wonder why you're not given equal to the number of learners. Well, it's us who provided them the data, not them. So who can be blamed with that? It will go back to all of us. It will boomerang to all of us. So, well, with that, it will affect our learners, the end, purpose of our reporting, the most in need of those reports, why we've been complying those reports, why we've been submitting these reports, because it will redound to provisions. So let's be very cautious and responsible. Be responsive for us to avail of the benefits of programs and projects to be downloaded to us by the central office and the regional office. It depends always on how we comply, on how we respond to the requirements, because nothing is for free, nothing is for us to get without proper documentation, without data to support that we really need those programs, those allocations, those activities in order for us to be able to provide those quality services to our learners. Wala pong libre dahil we are providing services funded by the government, of course, and it was taken from the taxes of all those people that we serve as well. So may responsibility talaga tayo na gawin. So I hope we will be able to address this one the next time and we will not encounter the same problems. Because these processes and procedures are for all of us to observe. Documents you requested and accounting procedures that we are to observe, as well as CID concerns, all of this downloading of MOOE, liquidation of MOOE, provision of technical assistance, requests for other documents. We cannot address this one unless we are updated, we are compliant, and cautious of the time given to us. What we can do, or the least that we can do, is to beat that deadline. Able to submit before the deadline, to give ample time for any revisions, corrections, or rectifications if necessary. Yun yung kabutihan na naibibigay pag mas maaga tayo, kaysa naman hinahabol natin ang deadline. Parang submitting on the deadline, submitting after the deadline, mali-mali na lahat, and then we wonder why we are deleted from the list to receive those programs. Kung nagtataka na tayo, bakit wala tayo? O diba? Bakit mas maliit ang pera natin para sa mga bata, para sa operation natin, hindi tumutugma sa mga bata natin? Well, saan ba nanggaling ang data? Yun ang gusto kong ipaalala sa lahat, saan nanggaling ang data? At isipin din natin, hindi po tayo mga robot na pagdating ng papel, dahil huli ka nang nag-submit, on the deadline ka na, talagang gagalaw agad ang papel mo. Isip-isipin natin marami tayong ginagawa. Not only these things, we have a lot of concerns to attend to. That is why there is a need for us to be updated and ahead of time. Always ahead of time as much as possible, to give us the opportunity to correct if there are discrepancies. Diba? Nagko-correct tayo ng discrepancies, hindi natatanggapin kasi wala na. Done na rin sila ng kanilang planning. So ano pang magagawa natin? We lose the opportunity for the whole year. We deprive those people to receive those benefits because we are not able to comply with the correct data within the timeline. Diba? Well, sinisisi natin ang iba, pero saan ba nagsisimula? Saan ba nagsisimula yan? Please understand that all these things emanate from the schools. Kasi sa kanila yung una-unang planning, galing sa kanila yung mga bata. Sino ba ang pinagkakaabalahan natin? Di ba mga bata? So mag-isip-isip tayo with these things kasi dito tayo nawawalan ng control. Dito tayo na iiwanan na as much as possible, all of us, not only the schools, I'm referring to everyone, to include us in the management, to be ahead of time. Because we're experiencing difficulty. Nagdo-domino effect, and then in the end, it's the school that will suffer. Given that they were deprived of these opportunities. Pero yun na nga, isipin natin ha, lahat ng data galing sa school for these programs and projects to be downloaded to us. And another thing is, of course, the one that was or were reiterated a while ago by our attorney as regards attendance to classes comes November 2. Well, I'm thankful to those who wrote, but I'm saddened as well that you're accusing me of things that I have not done just because you are worried. All of us are in quandary and worried. But the way you respond to the situation, you are harming others. You are maligning the name of others. And well, of course, that's not good being leaders, being teachers. We are providing information, correct and right information. We are providing education, and yet we're not able to observe what we are doing. O di ba katakataka naman yan? Diyos ko, educators tayo, nagbibigay tayo ng edukasyon, nagbibigay tayo ng liwanag. We are claiming that we are this, and yet we are not even manifesting those things. No? Pero marami ang magagaling pasintabi na lang doon sa mga magagaling dahil sa laki ng division office, maraming magaling. Kaya lang, mayroon din tayong frustration doon sa hindi ko alam what triggered them to do such thing. In the first place, lahat naman tayo ay gumagalaw at nagsisikap para sa kabutihan ng lahat. Pati yung kakulangan ng iba, binabato sa iba. Hindi yun mabuti ha. Kaya pag mag-isip-isip tayo dahil teachers tayo, educators tayo, we are supposed to support, we are supposed to clarify things, and we are not here to create chaos. We are here to address as much as possible those concerns properly. And we can ask clarification from the higher ups simply because those are policies and not within our jurisdiction. We are not authorized to issue anything in the absence of issuances emanating from the central office. Tandaan nyo yan. Hindi ako naglalabas ng kung anumang policy beyond and not aligned to central office issuances. Because we exist to provide right information, clarify issuances. Sana ganun din mag-isip ang mga tao sa baba. Dahil wala tayong panahon na gumawa ng mga policies, dahil marami na tayong dapat i-adhere and they're more than enough for us to implement, to observe, for us to be properly directed, and for us to be able to function properly and provide quality services. Masyado nang marami. Huwag naman kayong maggawa-gawa ng mga kwento na walang basihan, kundi yung mga issuances na katagal-tagal na. I-quote nyo pa, matagal na, tapos na, marami ng issuances na inilabas ng central office. Pero yung issue, hindi pa nagbabago. O bakit nyo, bakit natin binabato sa iba? No, it's not good because we are educators. We are to observe those things before we provide those to others. We cannot give what we do not have. Please be reminded of that. So if we want people to understand better, then we will do our responsibility better so that we will understand that these things are for the betterment of the services. Masaya ako doon sa mga nagtanong ng maayos, nasasagot sila ng maayos. At masaya din ako doon sa mga nakatulong sa pagpapaliwanag kasi nagkaroon tayo ng extension arm to provide information that would guide our people in the field. Because wala tayo lahat sa field, nandito ang iba sa offices. At salamat doon sa mga nag-effort na magtanong at sa mga doon sa nag-provide ng maayos na sagot. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Hindi ko na iisa-isahin dahil marami din naman kayo. So thank you very much for that support and for the school heads who've been very supportive as well sa mga PSDSS na kahit maraming challenges that, well, of course, affect us in the implementation of the DepEd programs and projects, still we are able to move forward. We are able to open classes and we are here to provide technical assistance. Maraming pagbabago sa accounting, sa personnel, just for us to address issues and concerns. And let me clarify that we cannot address issues and concern right there and then, because we need to know exactly what should be done to address these concerns that would affect the majority of the schools. Hindi pwedeng pa isa-isa dahil mahirap yun 800 plus kayo, isa-isahin natin, anong mangyayari? That is why there are proper avenues, forum, for your concerns to be addressed. Please utilize those and not to resolve to 8888. Kasi kung ano man yung sagot sa 888, yun pa rin ang sagot na makukuha ninyo if you only will make an effort to address that one to the proper office. Diba? Diyos ko, ilang 888 na ba tayo? Ang sagot yun pa rin, babalik na babalik yan. Hindi magbabago yan. Kahit ano pang accusation na gagawin ninyo, sasagutin pa rin yan ng naaayon sa batas. Wala tayong sagot na hindi naaayon sa batas dahil tumatakbo tayo at pinapaikot, pinapairal natin ang mga batas na gumagabay sa atin. Diba? We are implementing and observing those rules and regulations for us to be properly guided and implement programs and projects properly. Hindi tayo na diderail or nawawala. Kaya lang, huwag naman tayong masyadong assuming, interpreting rules and regulations in our own way, for our convenience. Ibang usapan yun educators tayo, so let's guide our teachers. Let's guide our teachers. With that, I would like to, well, of course, recommend to our school heads to be one step ahead with your teachers. Please read issuances for guidance and for you to be able to provide the right information, the right answer to our teachers. We cannot just simply say, it's the management, no, it's not the way we provide answers. Because the management just reiterate and implement down the line the rules and regulations provided to us for guidance and for our operations to be directed. Hindi tayo gumagawa ng sarili natin. Hindi ganun ang takbo ng isang ahensya. Alam natin yan at alam ninyo yan. So masaya ako sa mga tumutulong and I would like to commend all those that are those that are able to help in the dissemination of right information. And for those who asked inquiry to the right office. Thank you very much for that. At least with your action, right action, it lessen the problem that caused by those that cannot adhere to other rules and regulations. Thank you very much. So to end, before I end, I would like to announce in advance as well that school heads are directed to submit intent for transfer with 3 at least. Kung ayaw nyo ng 3, isa, dalawa, pwede na. Preferred school for transfer because due to existing vacancies caused by retirement and for a fact, mayroon tayong mga untimely death due to COVID-19, natural illnesses. So we need to move school heads despite lesser years in the school where you are assigned to because of the vacuum that need to be filled in. So we are directing all school heads to submit intent for transfer because you will be affected despite the lesser years where you are assigned, especially those more than 5 years, 5 years and up, you will be transferred. It comes movement of school heads soon. Non-submission of intent will mean waiver of your opportunity to be heard as to your preference of transfer. Linawin ko ulit ha. Non-submission of intent as to your preference to be transferred mean waiver of your opportunity to be heard by the management, because there will be movement whether you like it or not. It's a part of your career journey, given that you are school heads. Where your expertise will be needed, you might be assigned there. And it is also because of course, other factors that affect the transfer. So there are a lot of factors to consider. And for you to be heard as well, we need your request. So thank you very much. And we hope everything is in place, properly understood. If there are still doubts, as instructed, please chat or write in the chat box your concerns, and this will be addressed remotely, considering that we are about to end our DMANCOM. So for that, for the concerns as to operation, if it's isolated or school specific, please address your concern to ASDS Booking Quito for operation. MOOE, liquidation, release, program and project implementation, repairs. So that is with operation under ASDS Booking Quito. For class program, curriculum offering, attendance, and the like, please address your concern to ASDS Ramon, Raymond, naging Ramon ka na ngayon. Raymond Salvador, well, of course, with Chief CID Magallanes. So for the operation, may I add ESDS Booking Quito with OIC Chief Antonio Gano. And for management decision, you may approach the office of the superintendent and the 2 assistant schools division superintendent for appraisal. And for personal action, you may approach the OSTS with AO Mago. Supply concern, personal concern, and general services, each with AO Mago. Please be guided as to where your concerns to be raised so that it will be addressed properly. And please avoid posting concerns that cannot be answered by individuals that have no knowledge of. Ito ang iwasan natin kasi uulitin ko, educators tayo, kaya this time, let us improve our services, our performances, that of course will be helpful in the provision of quality services to our stakeholders, both the internal and the external, of course, not only the learners, but the community as well that is affected by our provision of services. I hope malinaw na po lahat, dahil malinaw naman po yung reports of the different functional divisions, and it's been reiterated several times. So I guess all other concerns that cannot be addressed in this portal, please raise that one to those people that I have given to you a while ago, to those offices, so that we can continue our operation as much as possible, smoothly, and with proper guidance. So thank you very much. And lastly, I would like to commend the management for this DemandCom activity. All those that contributed to the success of this convergence. Thank you very much. And to the PSDSs and school heads for being around. I hope we are able to provide you the information that would guide you in the dispense of your duties and responsibilities in your respective districts and respective schools. Once again, thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maharani M. Jacinto. Thank you, ma'am, for always guiding us.
Ayan po. Of course, no, we would like to greet happy birthday sa ating kasamahan dito sa Division Office,
Yeah.
Ma'am Mary Jane A. Busada
Happy birthday, ma'am.
from the Budget Office. Happy birthday and may God bless you po.
Thank you for the cake. May pa-cake. All right. We are now ready to read your questions. So if you have queries, don't hesitate to hit our chat box. Shall we read the first question?
Of course, may mga dalawang sources po tayo ng questions from MS Teams sa mga nabigyan po ng ating link at saka po sa ating live coverage in the YouTube channel. So we are now gathering all your questions and our PMT is now presenting it on screen. Ayan, isa-isahin natin and we will be calling the attention of the concerned section head na nag-report kanina to answer your concerns. Ito po.
All right. I believe the first question with regards to the finances, of course. Good afternoon, Ma'am Shane. Pa-update lang po about sa Division and Schools Program Support Funds. Ano ang kailangan namin gawin dito at kailan namin ito matatanggap? Do we have Ma'am Shane in the platform? Ma'am Shane?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am Kat, pwede pa repeat po ang question?
We have a question po for you with regards to your presentation earlier.
Yes, ma'am. Pardon po, Ma'am Kat, di ko po nakuha.
Babasahin ko ulit.
Thank you.
Update lang po about sa Division and Schools Program Support Funds. Ano daw po yung kailangan nilang gawin at kailan matatanggap?
Program support funds on what po na program, ma'am? Meron po specific?
Really, in the question,
Meron po specific program po, Ma'am Kat?
Anonymous.
We will just inform the one who is sending the question to please specify what kind of program you are pointing
okay, so
out.
maybe he or she is listening right now, so you can do a follow-up question. Please send it now.
Actually, ito na lang
Para
po.
po makapagbigay tayo ng direktang sagot mula ho sa ating division accountant.
Okay. Shall we
Yes,
proceed to the next query? Ma'am Shane,
general-
balikan ka po namin later.
Pero Ma'am Kat, ito na lang po. General na lang po when it comes to program support funds. Of course, pag program support funds, yung related dun po sa program, yung utilization po ng mga expenses na related sa program. On what program po na specifically po yung related yung support funds. Like, let's say for example, when it comes to yung mga SPED, Program Support Funds, so yung mga operating expenses po na related to dun sa SPED, SPED implementation mga
Excuse me,
activities.
may I be recognized?
Yes, ma'am.
I think they're referring to the additional MOE also. Meron ba?
Programs funds daw po kasi yung question, ma'am.
Okay, sige.
Yes po. Okay, thank you, ma'am Kat.
Okay, so yun po yung sagot ng ating division accountant, no, patungkol sa program support funds. Lahat lamang po ng mga expenditures na related doon sa program ang pwede po nating isali doon sa popondohan ng mga program support funds po. And siguro kailangan din nating itanong ulit kay Ma'am Shane kung kailan nila pwedeng matanggap ang program support funds or anong mechanism po doon sa submission po ng documents. Ma'am Shane?
Alright, when it comes to program support funds, sir, all you need to do is the same with school MOE, but instead of AIP, depende po kasi yun sa guidelines, kasi merong ibang guidelines na programs, different programs na like for example for the SPED funds, yung pinapagawa po yung instead of the work and financial plan before, yung pinapagawa po ngayon sa guidelines is the annual implementation plan. So depende po yan sa guidelines, but if there's no guidelines, usually yung pinapagawa natin for the downloading is yung the work and financial plan to support the downloading of the funds to the depende kung saan po yung implementation, whether sa division office or sa schools. Pero pag division office naman, yung mga program support funds, yung mga operating expenses na related po dun sa program. So, work and financial plan lang po. So, depende po. Pag travel or monitoring, so mostly, they have to submit mga travel documents related to their monitoring activities so that we could download the travel expenses to the different personnel. Like if the utilization will be for materials related to the program, then we have also to pay for the different suppliers of such materials or goods or services bakaha. So depende po. It depends on what are those expenses provided in the work and financial plan. Sir Brian?
So much, Ma'am Shane, for clearly answering the query of our participant. I hope na naintindihan ito at na dinig ng maayos ng ating participant kung paano isubmit at anong kailangang isubmit at kung kailan pwedeng tanggapin ang program support funds. Ayan, so we are still looking for your queries, no? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we still have time para po ma-address lahat ng inyong mga concerns since the MANCOM has its purpose, no? To accommodate all your concerns and queries. All right, so meron ba tayo from the Microsoft Teams? Wala. Sa YouTube channel din natin, parang wala namang masyadong tanong. So we believe na naiintindihan natin lahat ng mga presentations.
It was also well explained by our speakers earlier.
Mm-hmm. And if you have more queries which might come up in your mind right after this the MANCOM, you can lobby those queries with maybe your AO or your ADAS when it is finance related. Pwede nyo naman ipadala sa kanila so that they can directly forward those concerns to specific persons here in the division office. And sabi nga ni SDS kanina, Ma'am Kat, na if possible, iwasan natin ang pagpo-post ng mga concerns natin sa social media because our concerns can be addressed by specific persons and not in the social media platforms.
Think before you click, ika nga. Okay, may pa-shoutout dito. Shout out to the PSDS of Aurora East, always bringing you the best. Dr. Lito Pancho Bahian, hello, hello, sir.
At saka binabati din natin lahat ng mga nurses natin na nasa Mardil Hotel ngayon na nagkakandak ng kanilang trainings. Thank you po for always implementing your programs for the benefit of our learners and of our teaching and non-teaching personnel.
All right. And of course, we would like to remind everybody of our attendance links. Please don't forget to fill in our attendance links for today. We have there in your screen. That's our attendance links for today. Dalawa po.
Alright. And then po, nire-remind din po natin ang ating mga participants. May evaluation po ba tayo, Ma'am Kat?
I think the attendance link would suffice.
Okay po. Ayan. Are there any more questions? Muli po nagpapasalamat tayo sa ating Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maharani M. Jacinto. Of course, our two Assistant Schools
Of
Division
course.
Superintendents.
Dr. Raymond M. Salvador and Dr. Jerry C. Boquinquito, thank you so much, sirs, for always bringing the best in us.
Of course, our CID Chief, Dr. Juliet Magallanes, for leading the curriculum division.
And of course, our OIC Chief of the SGOD, ang nag-iisang Sir Tony Ganub. Thank you, sir.
Kaya naman po na we always see that the development, the progress of our services here in the division office is also because of the support of all
Yeah.
our public schools, district supervisors, PICD school heads, and all the personnel in the field. Dahil po sa inyo, nagkakaroon ho ng progress or development yung ating mga processes and services.
Yeah, we succeed as one.
Yes po. And of course, nagpapasalamat din po tayo sa inyong lahat for your continued support to our top management sa kanilang leadership. At nakikita din naman ho natin na sa lahat ng mga programs na in-implement natin, you are always with us.
Thank you everyone for bearing with us. Time check, it's 3:04 in the afternoon and I think we are now good to go.
Wala na
Wala na
bang
questions?
hahabol ng mga questions?
Wala nang pahabol. Of course, bago natin makalimutan ng ating mga kapatid dito, we would like to thank our program management team members, sa mga IT experts na nandito ngayon. Of course, we're headed by Sir Chester Bayokot. We have Lindon, Oracion, Raymart, Akdal, and of course, Sir John Ray Flores. Thank you, boys.
And of course, nagpapasalamat din ho tayo sa ating Human Resource Development Section Head, our SEPS and HRD,
Yeah.
Sir Ebenezer Bana Malilay, for always giving us a technical assistance when it comes to the production.
Of course, the best. Of course, we would like to thank Attorney Therese Angelica Matche.
Yeah. Ito, may humahabol Okay, this question goes to Ma'am Juliet
Okay.
Magallanes, our CID Chief. Pwede po bang makahingi ng sample class program sa multi-grade classes? Thank you po. Kasama pa po ba natin si Chief Magallanes sa platform? Wala
Okay.
na. Okay, so we suggest na ilabi na lang po natin itong concern na ito sa ating multi-grade supervisor para mabigyan po kayo ng agarang technical assistance in the preparation of your class program. Muli po, if your concern is all about the curriculum implementation, bukas po ang tanggapan ng CID para sa inyong mga concerns.
And of course, if your question is about the operations, the SGOD offices are very much willing to answer your queries.
Ito, parang napakagandang tanong. Since there will be an upcoming reshuffling of school heads, do we need to renew our fidelity band that will expire next month? Ma'am Shane, parang sa'yo pa din to. Ma'am Shane?
Ma'am Shane?
Shane?
Ma'am Shane?
Do you still have Ma'am Shane in the platform?
Yes, Sir Kai. Pwede po pardon the question po. Dito po narinig.
May nagtanong po na because there will be an upcoming reshuffling of school heads po daw, though they need to renew and na mag-i-expire na po next month.
Your fidelity band, Sir Bry? Wala po yung connection. On and off ang connection.
Ma'am, yung tanong po ng ating participant ay dahil may upcoming reshuffling daw po, kailangan pa po daw ba nilang i-renew ang kanilang fidelity band na mag-i-expire na next month?
All right po. Whether or not there will be a reshuffling of school heads, if you are still a school head or disbursing officer or special disbursing officer, you are still required to renew your fidelity band annually po. Kasi that will be served as your one of the requirements for the downloading of cash advance. So isa po yan sa requirements na pwede po kayong magranta ng cash advance kasi hindi po pwede magranta ng cash advance pag walang fidelity ban. So, dapat po talaga, kahit na mayroong fidelity ban, pero pag expired, hindi po pwede na ma-downloadan or mabigyan ng cash advance. So, they have to renew kung still if they are still school heads, whether or not saan po sila ma-transfer, basta within the division, they have still to renew their fidelity ban po. Thanks, Sir Bry.
So much, Ma'am Shane. That's loud and clear. So they need to really clear their records before transferring, before the reshuffling happens.
Tulad ng binanggit ni Ma'am Shane, hanggat kayo po ay isang school head, kailangan pa din ninyong i-renew ang inyong mga fidelity band.
Yeah.
Ayan, shout out din po sa ating Education Program Supervisor in Filipino, Dr. Josephine L. Tumbok, ang
TEA
TEA
ng lahat.
Yes, ang pambansang TEA.
Of course, to our Education Program Supervisor for LR, my Lodi, Dr. Florencio Loloy Caballero. Hello, Sir Loy.
Ayan po. Sa lahat ng mga education program supervisors natin na talagang matyaga at talagang nagtatrabaho araw-araw para po mas ma-improve pa ang delivery ng curriculum sa buong division. Maraming salamat
to
po.
all of you.
Ayan po. Hindi po talaga easy yung ginagawa nila everyday. And then, ito po sa lahat din po ng mga senior education program specialists ng division. Maraming salamat din po sa inyong mga programs in order to improve also our services here in the SJOD.
Again, we are reminding everyone to please answer our attendance links for today. We have 2 links for today, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Please don't forget to answer that one. That will serve as your attendance for this 10th demand committee.
Once again, parang wala na ho tayong, wala na ba yan sa baba, sir?
Wala na.
Okay. Tignan na lang ho natin before we close our program. Ayan. Follow up lang po. Ayan. Follow up lang po question. It's the Division and School Program Support Fund doon sa LIS tagging namin on learners manifestations.
LIS tagging.
Alright, so patungkol po dun sa follow-up question, we will just forward your concern to Ma'am Shane any moment after this program kasi parang nagkakaroon tayo ng konting problema sa internet connection and we cannot directly contact Ma'am Shane since nasa office siya ngayon because of napakadaming ginagawa nila. Papatapos na kasi ang buwan. So they're too busy at the moment. No? Ayan. So for Ma'am Kat, no, sa lahat pa ng mga additional queries, kapag meron pa kayo, you can just forward it to any person na pupunta dito sa division office so that they can directly lobby that to the concern.
Or they can lobby that to their PSDS and from their PSDSS directly to the office. Okay, I think that would be all. These have been your hosts. My name is Kathleen.
And my name is Brian, and we are happy that you are with us in this 10th Virtual Division Management Committee meeting.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we congratulate you all for the success of this demand committee. Sure, Sir.
And of course, we are greeting everyone. Happy Teachers Month sa lahat.
Yes.
Saludo po tayo sa galing at tatag ng gurong Pilipino.
Happy Teachers Day!